Sorry, I'm continuing. My feed died. So one of the things that people we're doing building services businesses. And I got a lot of people who had questions around which business to start. Most people have like one or two businesses, or two or more ideas of businesses they wanted to start. So what I want to talk about today is this idea of starting with one thing first, because it became really apparent to me that people were struggling with believing in themselves. At the end of the day, if you think it takes two businesses to make money, then what you're saying to yourself is, I don't believe that I can make one of them work. I don't see how the business model can happen. I don't know what's possible in my business. When in actuality, a content business or any business, a service business, whatever, you only should need one business. Not a bunch of side hustles. I don't teach. So one of the things I told people on the phone is that I don't teach side hustles. I don't teach them. I teach how to build a business that you can have for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that you can build your life around that business if you so choose. If you decide after 5 years that you don't want to do this anymore, you don't have to, because you've made enough money and you've accumulated enough wealth that you have other options in front of you. But I never teach side hustles. My life is not a side hustle. And I don't think yours is either. And so I have a lot of people who say, well, I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this, and I don't want to let that go because I make this from it. I get a little bit of money here from that. I get a little bit of money. What about big money? Let's all stop trying to scrap together little bits of money, and let's try to get big money. Because at the end of the day, what you're saying to yourself is that you don't believe in yourself enough to make more money. Right? You're not going to leave money for your kids, and you're not going to leave a good example either, which is like run yourself ragged on 5 different hustles because you can't get it together to focus on one thing. Right? So focus on one thing. Build one business. 90% of what makes a business successful is you believing it can be. Like, that's really it. So much of it is belief and faith that you're going to make it work. And so I want to just name that because I had a lot of women who, now if you're in a situation where you need to make some side cash, I get it. Like, that's life. So whatever, do what you got to do. But when you think about your business in your mind, so I had a nice woman this morning who was like, oh, I do event planning, but I also have this other company that's like a tour company. And I said to her, I said, listen, if you got to do some event planning to make it work, go ahead. But when someone asks you what you do or what the name of your business is, you better not say the event planning business, because that's your side hustle. You better say the tour company, because that's the business that you're actually building. That's the thing you actually care about. That's the thing that has possibility and future written all over it for you. So you can do other things because you have to do other things. That's normal. But that's not what you sell people on. That's not what you tell people you do as a living, as a professional, right? Because you want to build one business and you want people to know you for one thing. Over time, they can know you for more things. But if you do that in the beginning, what's going to happen is everyone and their mom's going to come to you. Oh, my friend told me you do this thing. My friend told me you can work this out. My friend told me you do. Now you're doing all this stuff to crap, like half-assed, like getting paid weird, the money's all funny and all this stuff because you couldn't actually anchor down and say, I only do this, because you don't trust yourself enough to figure it out to only do one thing. Really? You're going to run around with your head cut off all day long making little bits of money because you can't commit to doing one thing? That seems crazy. The other thing people ask me questions about were like resources, and what it was really apparent to me was that we're not learning. So you're building a business, you're like, oh, I'm going to events. That's not learning. I'm networking. That's not learning. I'm talking to people. That might and most likely is not learning. Why do I say that? Because unless you're going to take what you learned and do something with it, that's called learning. Internalizing, executing, right? That's learning. So if you're not doing that, right? If you're not doing that, I hope this is live again because I think it should be. Okay, let me refresh. Sorry guys, I cut in a deep moment. Like if you're not doing that, just hold on a second. But I wanted to make sure that the live was up. Okay. So if you're not, and the comments are up. Okay. So if you're not doing that, right? Like if you're actually like, so here's what's really tricky about courses, about learning. So a lot of people don't have any money. You spend money on your nails, your hair, all sorts of stuff, but you don't have any money for your business, but you want to build a business. Okay, whatever. There are a lot of ways, and why I always talk about education and lifestyle businesses, because they actually don't cost that much to start, and you actually can start one free if you really need to. So there's a lot of possibility there, okay, which I think is actually really important. But at the same time, I hear people say like, oh, I'm just gonna keep on learning. How? Watching getting little bits of information from Google, reading different people's blogs, going to events where you hear people's stories, that's inspiration, that's motivation. But learning means I can take something, internalize it, and execute on it. And just like learning math in school, you had to go to class and learn it. So why would you think that building a business doesn't require the same amount of learning? At least read a book. At least get a small business book. Those books aren't fun to read, right? But they're important. Because if you're not going to take a course or a class, at least read a book. But if you think going to a free networking event held by your chamber is going to make you build a business, it ain't. All those free resources are just to introduce you to concepts of building a business, not for you to actually build a business upon. Okay? Will you get a nugget of inspiration? Sure. Will you get a good idea? Sure. But will you learn how to build a full business that's right for you, the way you build businesses, the way you, based on your capacity and your ability and your flexibility and your parameters and your budget and all that stuff? No. So you can go to all the free events you want, but until you invest in yourself at some level, you're not going to get there. I mean, you might get there. I don't want to say you never get there, but it's hard to see you really get there, at least to the level that you want to get. Again, some success is not success. They are different. Success with a small s is, ooh, I got some wins and I think I'm in the right direction. Success with a big S is I'm on the right path. And we oftentimes mistake success with a small s to success with a big S because we don't have clarity around our goals. And that comes from not understanding how to build proper businesses. So I sell a course, and the webinar talks a lot about things that you need to know about business, not about actually the course, because actually I go through an interview process to see if people are fit for my course. But a lot of people ask me about my course, and I told them about my course, and we talked about it because that's part of the process, is to see if you're a fit. I answer all your business questions. I talk to you about a whole bunch of other stuff. I give you advice and feedback and insight and everything else, and then at the end of that I say, hey, so here's a course I have. If it fits, let's see if it fits. I don't know if it does. We'll find out. Like, I take this as a doctor-patient relationship. Like, you're the patient, I'm the doctor. You come to me with a problem, I answer it. If you want that advice, you take it. If you don't, you don't. That's life. I don't know. I'm not going to coerce you into something you don't want to do. Like, I don't have time for that. Okay, so a lot of people that I talked to had never taken a course before. Or they were in situations where they just took the wrong course, or they felt like they were swindled by someone in the wrong course or whatever. And what I was telling someone is a story of a woman who asked me one day about, she was saying she felt like she was swindled by her accountant. And I said, well, what happened? She said, well, she charged me $600 to do her LLC. But she couldn't answer I had all these questions about the business types and all the stuff that she couldn't answer them. And I said, well, those are legal questions, and she's not a lawyer. She's an accountant. And it costs about $300 to $400 for the license itself. So she didn't swindle you. That's just her fee on top of for doing the work. But because the woman knew so little about her actual business, she was so urgent to start a business, but she didn't actually understand it. She got mad at this woman for what she didn't understand. She wanted her to tell her all these things and tell her how to do everything she needs to do. And because she couldn't, she felt she was being swindled. That's a lot of times what happens with people when they go into courses. They feel like, well, I took this course to solve this problem and they couldn't solve it for me. No one can solve your problem for you. You solve your problem for you. You don't know what you need. Now, you hope that someone has enough thoughtfulness and enough, fortitude to say, hey, you know what? I don't know if you need that, or that doesn't make sense to me, or whatever. But when you buy a cheap course, you get cheap product, meaning, and not cheap in the sense of the quality, but what I mean by cheap is, they teach you the bare minimum. They teach you exactly what they say. If you buy a course to learn how to do Facebook ads, they're only going to teach you how to do Facebook ads. They're not going to spend time on talking through your strategy for Facebook. They're going to teach you the technical ways to create a Facebook ad. If you buy a course, a Build Your Business course, they're going to teach you only how to identify what business to build. They're not going to teach you how to sell your business. Those are different things. So because if you don't know what to ask, you're not going to get the right product. That person is not swindling you necessarily, though it does happen. I heard a really sad case this morning from my girl. I'm so sorry, and that where she was taken, and that's a hot mess. But for a lot of people, it's just like the quality isn't what you expected because you didn't actually understand what you were looking for, and you couldn't decipher when listening to someone if they were going to be able to give you that or not because you don't understand your business well enough. So it is sensitive because to actually find the right fit, you have to really understand and know. So one of the things I do for my course, which I explain to every person that talks to me, is this first month of our course is all about your business model. Not just my business model, not the one that I use that works great for me, not my Facebook strategy, though I can share that with you as well. But it's like, given your situation, given what you're selling, your timeline, your budget, your availability, your support systems, what makes sense for you? What are you going to build? How can you build what you want to build? And what's your expectations for when that can come to fruition? Because that determines your business model, not what my business model is. That's just an example, right? So I think for a lot of folks, they get into situations where they lose money building businesses and they think everything's, selling fish oil because they actually don't know, they can't decipher between what's good information and what's bad information, right? And that sucks. And I'm sorry for everyone that happened to, because I think it's not like you don't go in with good intentions. And it's not like people who sell you the content, normally speaking, are going in with bad intentions either. They want to help you, but with what they said they could help you with. And if you're not going to do YouTube ads, then their course doesn't matter to you. But you might not know that because they might sell a course that's like how to build your business, and their strategy is through YouTube. And so they sell you this course on how to build a business. You get into the course, they teach you a couple of things, you're like, cool. And they teach you a mechanism for YouTube. And then you realize, like, my business, I don't want to be on YouTube. Or like, I sell, teaching materials, and I don't see myself on YouTube. I see myself doing a podcast. And so now what happens? Now you're in a course that doesn't suit your needs. So for me, my thing's about modularization. How do you understand frameworks and systems and models for what you need to build a business so that you can start inputting what exactly you want to do and make the math work, right? So I need this kind of social, I need a social media presence. Okay, what platform do I want to use? That's a question. I can teach you how to use Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, but which one is it? You pick. Okay, second thing you need, whatever. And we go through the path. These are all things you need. You need something in every single area to make business magic happen over here. Now, you tell me what the isolated variables are going to be. You tell me what exact tool you're going to use. And because I'm, a Black woman and I'm building a course with Black women and I'm thoughtful about what we need, I recognize, hey, you know what? Being accessible by email and by phone or, through Q&As or whatever is super important. So you can ask me, if I use Facebook to do X versus me using Twitter, what's the difference? What should I expect? How's that going to go? What do I need to know? Right? That's what's really important about it. That's what I try to build. So that's, Now, another thing I realize people don't understand is about building a business is how much it costs. So, in general, like just how much it costs, whether it's a course, whether it's content, whether it's advertising, just how much it costs. And I think it's really important. It doesn't mean it can cost nothing, really. It can. It just means it will take you longer to build. Don't expect to build a business in 3 months when you have no money. Just don't expect that. But but like in my course, I teach people how to be able to sell a product within 3 months, and I believe that, and I stand by that, and I do that. Now, how much money you'll make at 3 months depends on how much available money you have. You can make $1,000 off organic traffic with no ads and just doing whatever regularly. So you don't need to have a ton of money. Now, if you want to make $10,000 a month, right after the program ends, you probably need to have $1,000 in ads. That's the math. Now, if you can wait 4 months, you probably make $10,000 without any ads at all either. So it just depends. It just really depends. There's so much variety. And I think that's what's important. I mean, I tell people sometimes do a fixed course. Some people I'm like, do one-off freebies and one-off downloadables. Like everyone has different business models. So all that to say, I got a lot of questions about my course about online businesses, about regular businesses and how to market regular businesses like service-based businesses, tax, accounting firms and whatever. So all different kinds of businesses. I still, for everyone who's about to start something new, I would just highly recommend looking at that thing you're going to provide service for and say, how can I bundle that up into a package of information that I can sell? Because that is so much faster, so much cheaper, and so much, it's going to just yield such better results for you long term. I can't even just my brain wants to go please, just think about an education lifestyle business first before you open a daycare, before you whatever, because there's just so much money to make. And if you have the knowledge and skill, people actually need it. Because most of the time, the thing we're building is not because we love that thing. It's because this is the thing we think we can build. And on average, most Black businesses make about $60,000 a year. Some of you might think that's good. Some of you think that's crappy. I think it's kind of crappy. An average person building a lifestyle business makes six figures, around $150,000 to $250,000 a year, or $220,000 a year. So there's a way bigger upside in building content. If you can take the service that you think you want to build and distill it down into a piece of content that you can sell, I'm telling you, it'll make the world a difference. You can still do the service, but the content's going to really help your business no matter what. No matter what. I think that's super important because you can do content without service. You really can't do service without content. Unless you're doing a digital ad agency. That's the only agency I would support. If you wanted to open up your own firm, the only ones I would support are really a digital ad agency and a law firm and a doctor's office. Because those are the only ones you're going to make six figures on. Maybe an accounting firm over years if you know how to build the right structure for it. Maybe an accounting firm. But you could do taxes all freaking winter and you'll still be broke. You still make 60 grand a year, 70 grand a year. You're not gonna make $250,000 a year. That upside doesn't even exist. At least with content, if you started with an $80,000 business, the upside that exists is $250,000 or $1 million, whatever, as far as your eyes can see. And you don't have to be greedy. You don't have to want $1 million business, blah, 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 bullshit. I'm just simply saying that you don't know till you have it. When you have 80 grand, you have 120 grand, then tell me what's possible. You might say, I want to retire. I'm going to invest this in the stock market and retire. You might say, actually, I want to build another business. Actually, I want to go double deep into one I'm building now and grow it even larger. You don't know what you're going to want to do because you're a human. You evolve. And your interests evolve. And as you get new places, you have a new perspective. Right? So don't assume. So my takeaways of all of that is understand what education business is, number one. Number two, read something or take a course, please. Even if it's not mine, do something. Right? 3, do only one thing instead of 5 things. That would be really helpful. What else? What other questions did I get that I wanted to answer from today? I think I want to talk about my webinar because I have 7 minutes left. So let me talk about the webinar. It's a half an hour. I think it was till 12:45. 1 o'clock, I don't know. So I want to talk about the webinar. Oh, I don't know who's on this because I can't see anyone's information. So thank you for watching, person who's watching. I don't know who you are. If you want to write in the comments, please do. So I think what it comes down to is that if you're looking at building a business, you need to ask yourself some questions. Most people are not doing enough rigor. They get super hype. And so I see a lot of people and so this is one of the things that I think we don't understand as Black people. You see someone walking down the street